Testing audio check. 1 2 1 2. Good evening, adventurers. Well, it's another Saturday night and time for a weekend adventure. However, I don't have my gaming group meeting this Saturday. We're going to be meeting every other Saturday. So, since I don't have a group to play with tonight, we're going to do a little world building and a little map making. I've been spending a little time on this, getting it ready. So, we'll kind of jump in here, head first and go from there. So, starting working on my fantasy world, I've kind of fleshed out one of my kingdoms slash continents here in the northwestern, good lord, hemisphere. And so I basically took the map that was generated by hexographer slash worldographer and made sense. One of the things that has to make sense in mapping is the transition between terrain types. You can't put a a hill uh, in the middle of you know a mountain. It's got to be adjacent to a mountain. I mean, you could, but it's got to be explainable. It's got to make some sense in terms of geology. So, geology and geography. So, what I've done is I've went through and modified my continent. I put a mountain range kind of through the center of it in a going from a southwest to a northeasterly direction. I've surrounded it by some hills, um, and then I put a heavy forested section in there, and then some lightly forested sections around that, and then we've got coastal lands, flatlands, plains, whatever you want to call them, leading out to the ocean in some areas, and in some areas we have forest going straight up to the ocean. So, but I wanted to go ahead and drop some population centers in here and kind of flesh this out. So I kind of really wanted to have one continent done this evening before I even got started streaming. So that was the goal, and that's where we're at. So we have, you know, this is going to be this continent's going to be predominantly human population centers. We are going to do a wood elf population center in the center of the deep forest, the heavy forest, and then I'm going to do, if I can speak English tonight, it would help. Two dwarven population centers representing two different dwarven clans. That's the reason we use the castle symbol in the actual mountain ranges. So we're going to have mountain dwarves. Um, this gives me a lot of other opportunity. We can throw some orc tribes in here. We can throw some hill dwarfs. We can throw goblins, orcs, you name it. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity. So my human population centers are going to be mostly along the coast, because the center of the continent is going to be predominantly heavy forest and mountains. So I want to designate a capital for my humans. Haven't decided how I want to do that yet. Let me see if I have a symbol. I don't like any of those. Okay. A lot of these symbols are furnishings. It's like, really? I'm not doing a actual dungeon map. I am doing an actual map. So let's see what we can come up with here for our capital. Maybe that, if I can put that here. But see, I really want that to be behind my building. So I think we're going to leave that alone for now. We'll find another way to designate that somehow. Or maybe, is there a way to move a layer to the back? That's a good question, since I'm fairly new to hexographer. So that's a feature. How can I put one feature behind another? Maybe instead of doing it as a feature, I need to do it as a shape. Let's try selecting. Yeah, selecting is not working. Is there a way? If I do it like this. Oh, that changed it. Okay. We'll go with that. We'll leave it alone. So that kind of gives us our population center. The west coast. This is going to be a town with a castle overlooking it. The castle is going to be on basically cliffs adjacent to the town. It's kind of how I envision this. Then we're going to have a small town on a coastal inlet. Again, another fortification, castle, and a town along the southern coast. And then for this inlet, we're going to have a town, but because of the way the inlet is geographically, there will be a fortification on an island at the entrance to the inlet. So I think that is going to be cool. And then coming around, fortification town, fortification town. We're going to have a fishing village here to the north, and another fishing village. Actually, it's going to be two fishing villages, one on the inlet and one on the interior lake, or the inner sea, because that's going to be a fairly significant body of water. So this is going to kind of flesh out what I call the colonies. And then the empire, the mother country. I think I want to come back to this later, but we're going to kind of do a very similar adjustment where we're going to normalize the terrain, because I see what looks like some sandy or rocky desert here in the middle, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, yeah, it is in kind of what would be the equatorial line of my world, but I don't like that with it just right up against forests. So there's going to be some cleanup there to address. And then we have our northeastern continent, and then we have our southern continent. We did have this was classed as southeastern early on in my world building development, and there was a southern continent that I decided to eradicate. It was just too much. You know, we have 4 major bodies of land. I think a 5th was over the top, and that's not counting my polar regions. So I decided to wipe that out. That will be a victim of the Great Cataclysm in my line of thinking. And so to that end, I think I want to, as part of that cataclysm, I want to basically render this entire continent barren, and then add feature to it. So whatever destroyed the southern continent, which is going to have been a great war in our planetary history, will have totally left this continent barren. Now, I'm not saying devoid of life. I'm saying barren. But we're going to tweak it too. So I think we're not going to render it all barren. I think we're going to render a significant chunk of it up. Hang on. Gotta watch where I click and get to happy clicking. So let's just go ahead and turn this into coastal desert, which is going to be the outer perimeter. And then I'm going to have a section of this land survive the destruction, but it's going to be a very small section. So now that we've rendered that completely coastal desert, let's see what we can do with it. I think all around the coast, we want dunes. So let's get crazy with it. So this is going to give me some very unique terraforming. You know, we're doing a little more than world building tonight. We are king making, just to make it lively. So let's do this. Okay. So, some duny desert, some rocky desert. I think there needs to be a mix of that. I think I want to do here in the heaviest sections. Some rocky desert. And you know, I'm reserving this continent for a lot of the big bads. But there's going to be more to it than the big bads. I just, I can't bring myself to make it totally just a mess. So, all right. So we have some rocky desert there. What do we have in terms of like a mountainous structure for desert? Do we have something we can play with? I think there needs to be, as a result of this cataclysm, at least let's have some fun. Let's flesh this out nice. So we'll have some high places in the desert, right? Give it some volcanism. Now, what do I want to do about Carmen in there complaining? Oh, I really want a small forested section here. This is going to be the area that survived. Let's do some savanna around it. All right, and then what kind of light forestation do we want around this? So, are you going to have deciduous around this? And I actually want a little bit of mixed forest in here. So we're going to close up this inlet. Put us there we go. I think this will be a good mix. Give us a little bit of forest. I think there needs to be a water source here for this to be the way I'm envisioning it. So You know, every desert has to have an oasis. And we've got a water source there. We've got a large water source here, but we're going to leave this place pretty much barren. So I think this is going to encompass the lands devastated during the cataclysm. So now we got to come back at some point, and I'll have to define what that cataclysm was. Do I really, you know, I would love to have some, I won't say mountain forest jungle. I would like to have a little bit of mixed forest. There's something here. There we go. Just a little bit more forestation. Let me see how I want to blend that. Let's go back up here. We're going to flesh that out a little bit. And then there, that kind of gives us more of a little cluster. I think that's more of a feature, so we can have volcanoes here, dormant and active, and then we can have a small mountain here. I think that's good. I don't like this shaping right here, though. It's just too rounded. Let me think about that. Let me pop some savanna here. And then maybe desert coastal there and kind of shape that off a little bit. And then we can dune this a little more. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that'll work nicely. Maybe some more rocky desert here. From coastal to rocky. There we go. Just to give us some variety. Maybe some rocky there. Okay. I think that's good. I think that gives us a good mix. Alrighty. We're gonna populate this place with snake people. The Yuan-ti. I think the sunken continent to the west here. I want to do something undersea. I don't know that. I don't think there's much we can do in terms of mapping tool to lay this out the way I want. Maybe under features. Let's go see. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Gotta love these ambiguous shapes and tiles. I think we will stop at that point. let's go take a look at... Okay, so one of my environmental features is going to be, you notice all this is basically a water channel now. It wasn't a water channel 3 days ago. It was something else. But I decided to make it a water channel. This is all during the winter here. There's going to be sections that freeze and form a land bridge, kind of like in the early 19th and 20th century. The Great Lakes here in the United States can freeze, have been known to freeze over. So I think we're going to have some, during the winters, the harsher winters, we're going to have some ice bridge formation in these straits. Maybe even into the northeastern continent, but not into the northwestern continent. So what are the things I want to do? Because we're going to have some frosty pumpkins up here. Snow giants. Might even have some snow dwarves. Let's see. We're doing snow. Are we doing ice? How did I build those? Huh. Okay. So we have... There needs to be a copy-paste feature here. Oh, there is. Okay. So I think we're going to build us up here. There's a active volcano there, and an inactive, what looks like an inactive volcano there. We might need a few of those. There we go. And then maybe a couple of those over here too. Copy, paste, and it does nothing. Okay, well, we will revisit that. So I want up here a couple of locations. I want... Let me find the terrain I'm looking for. I want some ice with some trees on it. Kind of like these. I got to figure out where I generated those from in order to duplicate them. Glacier mountains. Other glaciers. Tundra, snowfield. Okay. Did that come from... There are snowfields. Did that come from features? Which means we have to scroll through all the damn furniture, which is ridiculous, to find what we're looking for. Or I have to figure out how I created that, right? Or how it created it. I think that was auto-generated. Oh, we got character tokens. Okay. Alright, well, we're going to have to figure out how that came into being. So if I look at that terrain info, 51 animals, 9 bricks, some metals, some lumber, very little rock. Okay. So, how did that come into being? It didn't come from here. I think it's like a combination, like a layered thing. So, you're looking at an evergreen forest on top of ice. Hmm. So, there we go. So can we do that like we did down here? Maybe some evergreen forest like that, and then heavy evergreen forest. Come on, heavy evergreen forest. I want something unique up here. I want something that's not going to be known. There we go. That's going to be elves. Ice elves, snow elves. Something unique. Something I can have some fun with. So let's put some evergreens around that. Just to continue our forestation. And then I want the heavy evergreen there. And then the light evergreen here. There we go. That's going to be some fun. Now, because I want to deal with some nasty frosties up here that are occasionally migrating, let's put some hills up this way. As soon as I can find the symbol I'm looking for. Okay. Let's just... Oh, no. No, 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 no. That's not going to work. This... Ugh. Where'd it go? Let's just pepper the hell out of this. I want... Nope, 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 nope. We want some fun terrain up here. Let's get some mountainous. Not for dwarves this time, but for giants. So let's put these bad boys up in here. Okay. We're going to put these badasses up here in the mountains. I'm going to give their asses a stronghold just to have some fun with it. Let's put him there. Yes, that's going to be some fun stuff. Now, because I want my terrain to be consistent. That'll also give us our formation area for some land bridge activity. Oh, what fun we are going to have. Okay, so we have kind of fleshed that out. I think I want to chew up some of this terrain here with some ocean. No, I think that's good for land bridge formation. Let's keep it narrow because I'm treating a hex as if it's about a 25 to 50 mile stretch of terrain. I'm thinking 25 miles is good. I think if we make it 50, then it's just going to be too much, because then you're going to have too great of a distance between, let's say, your cities. If we're 125 miles versus 250 miles, of course you're going to have small villages along here, but your large settlements, your cities, is kind of what I was developing here. And maybe this is too many for this small stretch of land. That'll have to be revisited. All right, let's take this section and greenify it. Whoops. I was trying to scroll up over here in the toolbox, and instead I was scrolling up and zooming the map. I want to take this and treat it at all. Oops. Why are we not drawing farmland? What do I have selected? Okay, I'm obviously selecting something from features. Terrain. Should be drawing farmland. Instead, we're drawing ice. We've got to... Okay. I'm making a mess. I don't know what I did to my tool that it's confused. Let me go down to here and do a select. Okay. Now let's try this. Still not doing what I want it to do. So I think we just encountered our first bug in Hexographer for the evening. It's not wanting me to change tools. Okay, let me take some stuff off. Okay. Graze out all the water. Okay. Let's try. Oh, so I can add layers. That's cool to know. A little Madge Photoshop school skills maybe getting used. Okay, I think Icy was checked. That was the problem. Yep. Okay, so let's just basically greenify all of this. And then I want to come back and just redo the terrain for this continent entirely. It's probably easier for me to go along the coast and hug the coasts and then, wipe out the center than it is to do anything else. Let's see. Well, I just shrunk my inlet remarkably by Being clumsy with the mouse. I don't necessarily like this long inlet, so let's clear that up. There we go. Inlets are fine. Too many inlets and it begins to look weird. Okay. I want a mountain lake up in here. So I want some mountains. We've got our coastal. Let me go take a look at what I did over here. So we want coastal, forest, heavy forest, hills, and mountains. So let's come in and do some foresting. Oh, we got a pup. We got a pup coming to see us. Hey, girly. Hey, girly. What you doing? So she had her coat blown out earlier today. Yes, that's my girl. I blew her coat out last weekend. Didn't quite get it all. So blew her coat out again today. It looked like a hair storm out on my back deck. And I'm pretty sure we'll have to do it again in a week because she's still shedding. Husky shed is the scary thing. Hey, girly. Oh, look at that pretty tail. Look at that pretty tail. She's grumbling at me because I'm making fun of her. What, you coming back? Huh? I need a GoPro I can just stick on your collar. Let it follow you all over the house, huh? You need a GoPro? Carmen need a GoPro? Off she goes. I'm sure she'll be back for some attention in a little bit. Okay. I kind of got distracted by the pups. That happens quite frequently around here. Okay, so we're just going to light forest. Oh, she's bringing me a ball. Her is bringing her daddy a ball to play with. Okay. Pretty and green. Now I want to put some heavier forest in. Let me think about this, how I want to do this. Alrighty. I think I want to... There we go. That gives me some coastal land, what hexographer calls farmland. I'm treating as coastal land. Okay, so we put some deciduous forest in. Let's come in and put some heavy deciduous forest in. Let's come in. Oh. Oops. Nope. Okay. This is kind of how I fleshed this out. Okay, so we got some deciduous, got some heavy. Let's put some... I want some mountains. So let me think how I want to do this. Oh, terrain, mountain. Deciduous forest. No. Okay. I want to clear up and throw in some heavy forestation here. Okay. Flesh this out a little bit more. A little more deciduous forest. There we go. I feel better about that. I think we'll tweak that out a little bit. Let's do... Let's get some deciduous forest up here. All right. I feel good about that. Let's see how that compares to my other side. I have a different forest type. Let's see. We didn't do evergreen. Did more of a mixed mountainous forest. Let's do... There we go. That will give it some variety. Where is... Scrolling back and forth like a lunatic here. There we go. I think over here, this is a good place to put I think we want some dwarves over here. Yes, they're not everywhere, but they're going to be in a lot of places. think this is a good place to stamp some villages in these deep forests too. And then up here between the lakes. Throw a couple cities around here. I think I'm going to rip out some of this smooth surface and do something with it. I don't think we're going to put a city down there. I think we're going to put one here. Let's wipe out some of this. Oh, I need to go to terrain if I want to do this. Oops. There we go. Now we don't have such nothing like a little terraforming. Hmm? There we go. So that gives us a couple villages, couple towns. Probably need some fortifications around here somewhere. Let's throw some castles in. Kind of a similar scenario. Ooh, will that let me do a castle town? Is that what that's effectively doing? Yep. Okay. I'm good with that. So that's... I think we're going to do elves here, humans on the coast, dwarves in the mountains. I think I want another dwarven clan up here in the mountains. And I think as a result of that, I want to do some terrain shaping around them. Let's thicken that up a little bit. All right. There we go. That gives us 2 dwarven kingdoms, an elf kingdom. You know, one thing we're not doing with this map, or I'm not doing with this map, is doing the drow or the durgar yet. But you can assume if you've got mountainous terrain, you're going to have some durgar, you're going to have some drow. So we'll deal with the dark brothers as we build and populate. That's perfectly fine. I can do that as I go. All right. I think I'd like a couple more villages just to kind of flesh this out. And a village is a feature, not a terrain, Brian. Act like you know what you're doing. Okay. Let's put us. I think we need more folk. And we need some castles. These need to be, some of these need to be fortified. Definitely fortify like at least every other one. We need something up in here. Okay, I think that's good. Let's take and revisit over here. I feel like maybe we have too much space in between my cities to make travel easy. I mean, this was the imperial frontier, but still, I think there needs to be at least enough cities to make travel viable or survivable. 2 to 3 days journey to most towns. Maybe I'm getting too populous. I don't know about that. We'll have to think about that. Needs to be something over here. Human or otherwise. Maybe a village of some sort. Here, nestled up amongst here. And I just realized that my microphone is off. Jeez Louise. That is not good. Wonder how long I've been talking with the microphone off. Damn it. Me and that mute button are going to get into trouble with each other. So I'm going to flesh out my barren wastelands with some towns. Some of these human, some of these Yanti. None of them nice. But then I want to do a hitherto unknown scholarly city. Maybe some a dragonborn culture in this one unspoiled section of the continent. We're gonna have to find a way to protect them from the rest of these never-do-wells. So I'll think that through and flesh that out. All right, up here. Most of these cities are fairly close to each other. I feel like I need to put something here or destroy this chunk of water or destroy this chunk of land. It's just me. I'm OCD about this kind of stuff. So I think the sea is about to rush in. There, that just became a coastal town. Whoops. Okay. And then that's going to leave me to flesh out the Imperial Continent, which right now is huge and messy as fuck. So I think we need to level it and kind of do the same process. I think I want to do 2 different mountain ranges here, though. I think I want to do a north-south in the southern portion of the continent, and then an east-west in the northern portion. So let's do this. Let's save this, because we're kind of at a good stopping point this evening for mapping, at least this one. I have concentrated pretty much entirely on my fantasy campaign tonight. I don't like how this divides out. Yeah. Oh, why can't these toolboxes be more uniform in their sizing? So I think I want to save this because I have been working on it for a better part of an hour. Plus stuff I did earlier that I hadn't saved. I think we need some hills around here too, you know? So maybe come out and do some hills around this. Yeah, I think there needs to be some hills. Let's put some hills in, just for the sake of consistency. I don't like the placement of that town right there with the hills. Let me move my tool a little bit. Collapse this down, hit select. Oh, you're not going to let me select. Oh, because it's not terrain, it's a feature. Yeah. Do we want to move this? See, I don't want that. You know what? I'm going to put him right back where he was. We're going to shift the terrain around him. So no. Okay. So we want to plug deciduous forest around him, and then hills around that. Okay. And then we got to tweak this forest a little bit. Nice thing is it gives it more of an organic shape, so I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, if it looks more organic, it's more believable in terms of landscape. So I'm fine with that. Okay, my hills. Oh, goodness. Where are my hills at? Do I have a filter set? Yeah, and that's why I'm not seeing them. Remove the filter. Remove the filter. There we go. I think I like that better. Kind of gives us a defined look. It's more consistent with my other continent too. So we can have the same sort of geological forces at work. Now for the main continent. I think we're going to stop here. Let's save. Let's go chitty chat about natural resources, which I need to do this for both tonight, even though we haven't touched the map for fantasy. Okay. So let's bring this up. Okay. Precious metals. Gems. This is going to be your mountainous regions. Mountainous regions. Rare is going to be platinum. Common are going to be gold, silver, and copper. Use for currency. Locations. It's going to be various for gemstones because you're not going to find them in the same place you're finding metals. Scarcity is going to depend on stones, so rare going to be diamond, common, ruby, emerald, garnet. There's so many other stones. I think we're going to make moonstone rare. Plentiful. Quartz. I think we need to bring this section up between precious metals and gems. We're going to have workable metals. This is going to be, again, mountainous regions. Mountainous regions. This is going to be your iron. The other, it's going to be uses for metalworking. Bronze. Is bronze an actual metal, or is it an alloy? Yeah. So bronze is going to be more copper and tin. So it's going to be iron, tin. Value is going to depend. So I think that's good for our natural resources for that type of thing. I need to come up with some more, but those are the three big ones for our sci-fi world. It's going to be kind of the same, except one of the other big ones is going to be sea kelp. Well, let's set some stuff up here real quick. 2024-01-27. 2024-01-27. Sea kelp. Uses. It's going to be agricultural. If I can spell agricultural and medicinal. You know, our deep port is going to, in our sci-fi setting, is going to be farming sea kelp. Undersea. Scarcity is going to be common, but difficult to obtain. Let's define the value of these. You know, your platinum or electrum are going to be high value because of their rarity. Your common metals are going to be, I'm not going to say low, but in terms of a precious metal, we're going to say average. For common, like gold, silver, copper. Your workable metals like iron, tin are going to be average because of the work, the bounty, the bountifulness of them. And then your gems are going to be extremely high for rare gems, and you know, low, average to low. There we go. That'll kind of define our natural resources for We're going to say average value for our sea kelp for our sci-fi world. I think those are good places to start. So let's do this. Let's ooh, dogs are carrying on. Let's take a look back at our map. If I can get over there. To do a little more work, I think, on our large continent. I want to kind of treat it the same way as I did the other. Let's kind of zero it out. And then that way we can start fresh. Terraforming we will go. Okay, let's get these coastal regions cleaned up. Carmen getting yelled at for being loud and obnoxious. It's another day at our household. Oh, are you coming into here because you got in trouble? And then she goes right back out and right back to what she was doing. I do not like how that is shaped, so I will probably do something about that. And here she comes to aggravate Rocky. Carmen, hush. She cannot help but aggravate these boy dogs. Okay, talk about flattening the land. Okay. What a mess this makes. And then we'll come back and we'll do a little terraforming of the empire. I think... Oops. Didn't want to add land. I just wanted to shift it. Okay. So we have now officially flattened this. I don't know about some of this water. I'll have to think about it. So let's go back and do some forestation. Let's fill in our deciduous, kind of like we've been doing. I want to come in pretty much one from the coast. I like how this works as far as doing it this way. I feel like it's more uniform. And it gives me a lot more flexibility. in how I want to draw my my world. Nope, 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 not like that. So this gets me pretty much set up the way I want. Which is cool. Gives me the ability to do some serious shaping of the land. Okay. So I'm not going to fill all of that in just because I know I'm going to come back and put different structures in there. So let's just go too deep all the way around for the deciduous forest. I think that's good. I think more than that, and I'm just redrawing stuff for the sake of redrawing stuff. There's some there that are probably a little thicker than they need to be. That's okay. A little variety is good. Okay. I think that gives us kind of a good shape. Now let's come in from the deciduous and start doing some hills. I wonder if I could do hills forest mixed. Do like a layer of this. Let's see how this pans out. I might want to thicken that up a little bit. Let me think on that. A couple of little errors there that I'm not particularly worried about. Huh. Okay. Over here we're a little thicker than I really want to be. Was that coming in too? But I also want to leave it kind of ragged looking. There we go. So let's come in now. And that was hills forest mixed. Let's come in and do, I want to do something with a little more mountainous terrain. Let's see what we got. So we have deciduous, we have evergreen. Evergreen's going to be more up into your snow caps. And then do we have like a mixed? We do have like a mixed. So let's do some mixed like this. Okay. That looks kind of fun. Oops. This will be interesting because this is going to render the empire as having some very interesting geological formations. All right. Now let's go from mixed to evergreen, which is going to be more of this style. That's going to give me an east-west mountain range in the south and like a centralized large mountain range in the north. Tell you what I want to do. I want a lake up here. I know that seems random, but I want a lake under the stars of heaven with water so dark that it reflects the starlight at night. So I think the Great Star Lake is going to go right here, smack dab in the middle of this. Let's make it happen. I think I'm going to eradicate some of these bodies of water in the middle here and connect these two mountain ranges. Let's put this in first and then let me look at that and see how I want to treat that. That's a thought process. There you go, there's the Great Star Lake. So I want to eradicate this and put some forest in of, okay, where are we at? Scroll of death here. Deciduous. Let's just deciduous the hell out of this. Now, there we go. Now I want to connect these mountains. First, I want to connect the outer band of forest between the two. So that is going to be more along the lines of nope, not that one. It needs to be a lighter green. So what are we doing here? Is that this one? Yes. So let's connect that. Okay. We're going to have some serious terrain here in the Empire. Okay. And then that's going to give us some ability to clean this up a little more. Let's see, that's a mixed forest. So that's going to be more along the lines of this. Okay. I think I want that lake to be bigger. Does it need to be an inland sea? Probably not. Do we need some water down here? Probably. Okay. Okay, that gives us some seriously looking mountains. We have some snow caps on these things. So I have the option of doing icy with some of these. So I think what I want to do is up here, mountain forest evergreen. Let's mark those as icy. Icy's not going to take. Okay. Well, then we're not going to worry about icy right now. Let's see what we've got. We got anything with some snow cap on it? We do. So I just need to stop and think, do I want anything up in here to have snow on it, except in the winter time? Probably up in here. Up here into the Devil's Backbone. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that. Have some peaks that have some permanent snow, just because we can. And because of their elevation. Yeah, let's have some fun with that. Okay, so we've got some snowy peaks. Oh yeah, we're gonna put this bad boy that's surrounded by ice. That is gonna be some fun. Might have to put some snow creatures up there. All right, it's time to probably populate this bad boy. What do you think? Time to populate it? I think it's time to populate it. I think there needs to be here and here. There we go. Here and here. Okay, we need to wipe out some of these damned inlets because there are too many of them. So let's tear out some inlets real quick. Oh, and I just created another one. Scroll forever. Castles. Okay. Oh, we need to put some fortifications of some sort along here. Nope. Not right there. There. Alright, let's throw some towns in here so that we have some... Actually, let's eradicate some land as we get our map drawn out and fleshed out even more. Ocean water. Okay. Well, we're going to throw a town there. Let's throw a town over here. Okay, let's go throw some features together. Let's put a town right here and a town. No. We'll put an elven village in somewhere. This is going to be the castle on top of the world. One of the hardest places to reach. I think that's a good Good plan. Good plan. All right, so I think that fleshes out our population centers on all our continents, fleshes out our continents. I think it gives us some nice, interesting terrain to tinker with. Really think I would like another snow cap or two over here. If I can find, let's see, find something nice to throw in there. There we go. Do I want to add any more around here? I think that's good. I think any more than that, we're going to get crazy. There we go. I think that is a good wrap for our fantasy map for this week. I think next week I will concentrate on the fantasy map during next Wednesday's session, or next Monday's session, depending on how it goes. This is kind of a good stopping point, so I want to save this for the fantasy map. Let's take a look at the sci-fi map. I feel like maybe some of that ice needs to come further south, but I think I'm going to stop and leave it alone. Looks like our imperial continent is the most developed in terms of cities, and then our barren continent is least developed, and then our eastern and western subcontinents kind of continents. I mean, even if you want to call some of this archipelagos, I think we need to reduce it. I think some of this needs to come off, go away. I think maybe 3 to 4 major land masses are sufficient for this. I think more than that gets a bit excessive, and here we're sitting at 5. I really don't consider this southern continent one continent. It's almost two, because there's just a small narrow stretch of land connecting the two. So with that being said, I mean, you're looking at 6 major land masses. Too many. It needs to come down at least by 1, if not 2. So I'm thinking I'm going to eradicate this here in the northeast quadrant. I may eradicate this in the central eastern quadrant. And if I'm going to leave these 2 here, I'm going to beef up the joining so that this continent's a little larger. And go from there. I think our downport might become the center of the planet if that's the case. So, but that'll be something to look at for next week or next session. It'll be next week. I just don't know when. all that being said, let's wrap this up for the evening, and then tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to be painting some miniatures. I've got oh 4 that still need to be completely painted that haven't been really started other than primed. And then I've got some that are boxed miniatures I've bought that probably need to break some of them out of the boxes and work on them. So, but appreciate you if you've stopped by this evening to kind of check in and see what we're up to, just kind of hanging out with us. And, next time, hopefully we'll get to do a gaming session on Saturday. Yeah, next Saturday there will definitely be a gaming session. Um, this coming Monday will be sci-fi, but I don't anticipate us playing, so it'll probably be either painting miniatures or world building. I may do some world building on our fantasy world or on our sci-fi world, since I did the fantasy world this evening. But if you like what you see, hit that follow button, turn on those notifications, so anytime I'm live, you get a notification to let you know. And thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.